Welcome back to Crime Under the African Sky, where we will dive into the chilling story of one of South Africa's most notorious murders. On May 3, 2010, the business world was shocked when Lolly Jackson, the infamous boss of the Teazers strip club, was brutally murdered. The details of his death were surrounded by rumors, mystery, and a web of dangerous connections. But today, new revelations about the murder have surfaced, revealing shocking claims from the key suspect in the case. So, what really happened that fateful night? Lolly Jackson was no stranger to controversy. Known for running Teazers, one of South Africa's most popular strip clubs, Jackson had his fair share of enemies. His business dealings often put him at odds with powerful individuals, both in the criminal world and legitimate business sectors. But Jackson's story ended abruptly on that evening in May 2010. According to reports, Jackson was in the midst of dealing with some serious financial issues, including a large sum of money that had gone missing. And this is where the involvement of Radovan Krejcir, a Czech businessman with a notorious criminal past, comes into play. Radovan Krejcir, an international fugitive with a history of violent crime and corruption, was allegedly involved in a money laundering scheme with Jackson. But a dispute over 740,000 rands would lead to deadly consequences. Is 740,000 rands enough for a human life? That's equivalent to $39,000. Comment below and let me know, what would you do if you were in the same shoes as Radovan? Now let's get back to the story. George Louca, the man at the center of the investigation, claims that Krejcir shot Jackson during a heated argument over this sum of money. Louca, who is also known as George Smith, was allegedly an intermediary between Jackson and Krejcir. He had played a role in helping Jackson with some of his legal troubles, even arranging a fake passport for him. But when the money disappeared, tensions escalated. According to Louca's affidavits, Jackson was furious upon discovering that the money Krejcir had supposedly transferred to him was not legitimate. Jackson believed that Krejcir had swindled him, providing a fake SWIFT transfer receipt as proof. The two men had previously discussed the situation, but on the afternoon of May 3rd, they were supposed to meet and settle things once and for all. Louca arranged the meeting, but when Jackson arrived, things quickly turned violent. Jackson, enraged by the fraudulent receipt, confronted Krejcir. He allegedly waved the document in front of Krejcir's face, demanding answers. Louca claims that Jackson shouted at Krejcir, calling him a thief and accusing him of stealing his money. The argument quickly escalated. Louca recounts that Krejcir, visibly angry, lunged at Jackson to grab the receipt from him. When Jackson resisted, Krejcir pulled out a firearm and shot him in cold blood. Louca's account paints a disturbing picture. He claims that Jackson fell onto the couch, shocked by the sudden violence, and began pleading for his life. But Krejcir was not done. Louca describes how Krejcir stood over Jackson, kicked him in the chest, and said, "You want to know who I am? I'll show you who I am. UF*** King Cockroach." Then, Louca says, Krejcir continued shooting Jackson, pumping several more bullets into his body. According to Louca, Jackson's lifeless body was left lying in a pool of blood on the floor. Louca's detailed affidavits, seen by the Sunday Times, provide a gruesome account of what happened next. Krejcir reportedly ordered Louca to help him move the body. Louca, now terrified, says he could not bring himself to follow the order. Instead, he dragged Jackson's body into the passage and left it there. Louca, shaken by what he had just witnessed, fled the scene in Jackson's Jeep. Desperate and afraid for his life, he called a trusted police contact, General Joey Mabasa, to inform him of the murder. General Mabasa, who had been involved in investigating Jackson for money laundering, initially thought Louca was pranking him. But as Louca's story became more serious, Mabasa advised him to turn himself in. However, Louca didn't immediately go to the police. Instead, he drove around for hours, meeting with Krejcir at a garage, where Krejcir tried to calm him down. Louca also claims that Krejcir had brought along two associates to the scene, including Cyril Bika, a known figure in South Africa's criminal underworld. Louca says that Krejcir pressured him into leaving South Africa. He was allegedly told to flee to Cyprus, where Krejcir promised to help him financially and ensure his safety. Louca then made the decision to leave the country. With the help of a friend, he crossed the border into Mozambique and eventually made his way to Cyprus. It was there that he lived in hiding, away from the reach of South African authorities. Louca was eventually extradited back to South Africa in 2014 to face charges of murder. However, by this time, he had been diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. His health had deteriorated rapidly, and he was moved to a secret prison hospital for treatment. Despite his claims of being innocent, Louca's story is not without controversy. Krejcir's lawyer has vehemently denied the accusations, calling Louca's affidavits absolute rubbish. Krejcir, who is currently in jail on unrelated charges, insists that Louca is the one responsible for Jackson's murder, not him. And investigators are not fully convinced by Louca's account. General Mabasa, who had been investigating Jackson for money laundering, has questioned the credibility of Louca's claims. He wonders why Louca fled the country if he was truly innocent and why he didn't come forward sooner. Louca's legal team maintains that he is simply a witness and not an accomplice in Jackson's death. But the mystery remains. Was Louca a bystander, or is he trying to save himself by implicating Krejcir? As the trial continues, the true story behind Lolly Jackson's murder may finally be revealed. But one thing is clear. This was a brutal crime that shattered lives and left an indelible mark on South African history. Thank you for watching. We want to hear your thoughts on this case. Do you believe George Louca's version of events? Or do you think Krejcir is the true culprit? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more true crime investigations. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe.